So by the end of today's lesson, I expect that you would know what a cash book is. You would know certain features or characteristics of a cash book, and most importantly, the types of cash book and how to prepare each of the types of cash book. Okay, so I'll start the reading. At a point, I would ask you to read where necessary. Okay, so like we know, the cash book is a day book or a subsidiary book, and it is also a ledger. Okay, so when we are looking at books of account, the cash book is both a day book and also a ledger, and we'll know why it behaves like that. But if you are asked to define a cash book, then you can simply say that it is a book used to record cash and bank transactions. It is a book of account that is used to record cash and bank transactions. So all the transactions that were made or done using either cash or check would be recorded in the cash book. Okay, so like I just mentioned, it is a day book, it is also a ledger, and finally, it's even an account. So if you are asked to state the features of a cash book, you can state that the cash book is a day book. And why is it a day book? It is a day book because it first records cash and bank transactions on daily basis. And it is a ledger because it keeps the cash account and bank account. Okay, it is an account because the cash book has a debit side and a credit side. Okay. I want you to pay attention to the next thing I'm about to say. If you are preparing a cash book, all you need to do is to debit all payment and debit all receipts and credit all payment. So if you see a transaction where there is evidence that the business is receiving money, be it in cash or check, then you are going to debit that to your cash book. If there is evidence that the business is making payment using money or cash or check, then we credit that to the cash book. Okay. So quickly, let's look at the types of cash book. Ladies and gentlemen, we have three types of cash book. Three types of cash book. The first one is the one column or single column cash book. The second is the two column or double column cash book. And the third is the three column or triple column cash book. Without wasting time, let's go through the one column. And I think one of you should read for me, if you can, the one column cash book. I think Alexia comes first before Frank, so Alexia will do the reading for us on the one column. Yes. Okay, so Prof. Alexia, I think the screen is loading, so if you can see it now, you can read a single column cash book or one column cash book for us.
The one column cash book. It has only one amount column on the debit side and credit side. So it's used when a business uses either only cash or only check in its transaction. It is showed as follows.
Okay, thank you very much. So when we talk of the single column cash book, it is single column because it only has one column for the amount. In that, it is prepared by a business that is transacting business using either only cash or either only check. If I'm to cite example, there are some businesses, they don't receive check or make payment with check. A typical example is most of the businesses in our markets, like these sellers in our markets, they don't receive check or make payment using check. So for such a business, if you are preparing a cash book, you would consider this single column or one column. Likewise, there are some businesses too, they don't accept cash. They only use check in their transactions. Okay. So the basis is that it is one column because it has just one amount column, which is going to take care of either the cash or bank. So when you are given the question, you do the analysis to see if the business is using only one form of money to transact the business. Okay, I think it makes sense now. Now, considering the format, like I said, a cash book is an account, so it has a debit side, which is our normal debit side we know of an account on the left side, and the credit side on the right side. So you provide a column for date, details or particulars, folio, and amount. I have explained folio earlier, and I indicated to you that we are not going to pay much attention to it. So we are going to skip that in our subsequent preparation of the cash book. And then on the right side, which is the credit side, you have the same date, details, and amount. So that is one column cash book. So for example, if you are dealing with a question where the business is using only cash, then under the amount column, you are going to write cash. Okay. If the business is using check, then you are going to change that into bank. Okay. So let's move to the two column cash book. So before we look at it, can you guess if one column has one amount column, what do you think the two column would have? Prof. Frank, can you share an opinion on that?
The two column cash book will have two amounts on the debit side and two different kinds of amounts on the credit side.
Okay. That's it. That's a good guess though. Okay, so the two column, like you have suggested, would have two amount column, but it is used by a business that is transacting business using both cash and check. So that business uses both cash and check. Okay, so the two amount column, one is going to be for cash and one is going to be for bank, so that all cash transactions will be recorded under the cash column and all bank or check transactions will be recorded under the bank column. So let's look at the two column cash book. Okay, so the two column cash book has two amount column, one for cash and one for bank, at both the debit side and the credit side. So all cash transactions will be put under the cash column, and likewise for the check transactions, like I indicated. In terms of format, this is how it looks like. So you have the date, details, and then the columns we have cash and bank. Okay. One column for cash, one column for bank. And same on the credit side, we have one column for cash and one column for bank. Okay. Finally, onto the three column cash book. So Frank, are you going to suggest that the three column cash book would also have three amount columns?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what would the third column be used for?
The third column would be used for the discount column.
Exactly.
It
So
will contain cash.
okay. That is true. So the third column introduced will be the discount columns. That's the cash discount columns. And I think I explained that we have two types of cash discount, i.e. the discount allowed and discount received. Okay, so the three-column cash book adds a third column known as a discount column to both the credit side and the debit side. This discount is known as the cash discount. Okay, now cash discount, as we spoke about in our previous lesson, is a reduction in a price to encourage prompt payment. So you want people to pay on time. That is why you give them that reduction or allowance. And the two forms of cash discount are discount allowed and discount received. So a business could have a discount allowance to its customers or a discount receivable from its suppliers or creditors. So it's discount allowed because that is a type of allowance given to customers by the business. And discount received is an allowance given to the business by its suppliers. So you have to note the differences between the two. Now, in terms of where we put these discount columns, the discount allowed will be at the debit side and the discount received would be at the credit side. The reason why we put discount allowed at the debit side is because when we are receiving money from our debtors, that is where we allow discount. So you allow a discount when you are receiving money. And in the cash book, all receipts are done on the debit side. On the other hand, a business will receive discount when it is making payment to its suppliers or creditors. That's the reason why we have discount allowed on the debit and discount received on the credit. So the format follows like this. So you have date details, discount allowed will come first. So discount allowed, followed by your cash column and bank column on the debit side. And then on the credit side, date details, and then discount received. Discount received also follows. Then your cash and bank. So that is it for the three-column guide. Now the question is, when you are given an illustration, how would you know whether you have to prepare one column, two column, or three column? So you have to look at the dynamics of the question. Is the business using only cash? Or is the business using only check? Is the business using both cash and check? And is the business allowing discount and receiving discount? You have to consider this. But let me ask a very intriguing question. So let's say, for instance, you are operating a business and you only transact using cash. Okay, you do your payment and you also receive your monies through cash or by means of only cash. If you allow discount and you receive discount at the same time, would you open a single column cash book or a three-column cash book? So, Prof. Frank, I want your opinion on that. Welcome back, Prof. Alexia.
Thank you, sir.
Prof. Frank, did you get my question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It might be a three-column cash book.
Why would it be a three-column? Because the scenario states clearly that the business uses only cash. So it is going to be a single column cash, but we are going to have the discount allowed and discount received columns in there. So I asked that question to clear the doubt that The discount column, okay, in itself does not make the cash book 3 column. Okay, for the cash book to be a 3 column, the business should be dealing in both cash and check, and at the same time allowing discount. So all those conditions must be present. If the business deals with only cash but allows discount and receive discount, you would still prepare a single column cash book, but you are going to introduce the discount allowed and discount received columns respectively. Okay. What we have to do next is to solve illustrations about preparation of cash book. But let me make this quick comment. If you are given the illustration, you have to first of all establish if the bank is transacting business using only cash or using only check or using both, and as well allowing discount and receiving discount, so that you can settle on which type of cash book to prepare. So let me take you to the first illustration we are going to discuss. And this is it. This is the illustration. Oh, I've gone. Okay, so there we have it. So quickly, let me read the first illustration. Prepare the cash book of Ronaldo Limited for the month of May 2018. So on the first, started business with 19,000 cash. On the second, received a loan from Philip, 1,700 cash. On the fifth, bought goods on credit from Dominic, 1,850. On the 10th, bought motor van, 12,500 cash. And lastly, sold goods for cash. Sold goods for cash, 10,000 cedis. So, dear lady and gentlemen, what type of cash book should we prepare for Ronaldo? Is it a 1 column, 2 column, or 3 column? And you tell me why. So whoever has the answer and ready can go ahead. Please don't let me call you now. I beg you.
So please, it's a 2-column cash book.
Okay, Prof. Frank is saying 2 column cash book. And Prof. Frank, why are you saying we should prepare a 2 column cash book?
It seems the business allows transactions, the cash and bank transactions.
Okay, you see the business is dealing with cash and bank. Okay, thank you for that opinion. Prof. Alexia, can I hear from you?
So please, the same thing, sir.
The same thing.
Yes.
Hey, unfortunately, all my students have fallen into the deep pit. Wow, unless I am not unless I am not seeing clearly. But when we read the transaction, it says started business with 19,000 cash, received a loan from Philip, 1,700 cash, bought goods on credit from Dominic, bought motor van, 12,000 cash, sold goods for cash. Everything is about cash, 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 cash. So where did you guys see the check or bank thing? Prof. Frank, you led us into that pit, so answer for me. Where did you see the check or bank? Prof. Frank, I think it's a mistake. You haven't eaten a bar this morning, that's why. Okay, so when you analyze all the transactions except for the fifth one, okay, except for this one, all of them are cash, 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 cash. So it means the single column. Now the second one is, or the fifth one, sorry, is bought goods on credit. And we have just established that the cash book is only used to record transactions that involves the payment or receipt of cash or check. Now for this transaction, there is no payment of cash or check, neither is there any receipt of cash or check. It is a credit transaction. So there was not even, there was no kind of payment or receipt. This is a credit, and let me be specific, this is a credit purchases, credit purchase of goods. So in any case, this should be in the purchases day book. So it will never appear in our cash book. So please take some few notes. Number one, any transaction that does not involve cash or check, don't record it in the cash book. Now, always check what is being used by the business. So as you see here, cash, 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 cash. There's no check in it. So for this illustration, you have to prepare the single column cash book. If we had seen maybe started business with 19,000 check or 19,000 at the bank, and then maybe along the line you see another check and then the cash is mixed up, then you can say the two column because you are seeing both cash and bank transaction. So I hope that is clear now. Okay, thank you very much. Any question? I don't think so. So let's quickly see how we can solve this question. The transactions are not plenty. Okay. So in the books of Ronaldo, it's always very important for you to write the name of the business, cash book, and here we are preparing a single column cash book. So we need the date, the details, and amount. And I indicated, if you satisfy yourself that the business is using only cash, then you put cash under that, under the amount column, just like this. Okay. Now, what do? You read the transaction and you record. And as I indicated, the underlying principle. If it is a receipt of money, you debit. If it is payment, you credit. So let's begin. The first one was started business with 19,000 cash. So dear lady and gentlemen, is the business receiving money or paying money? Because you have to know whether it is a payment or a receipt for you to know whether to debit or credit. Since Prof. Frank led us into a pit, let me see if Prof. Alessia can save the situation this time. Started business with 19,000 cash. Prof. Alessia, is the business receiving money or paying money?
The business is receiving.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the business is receiving money, and for that matter, we are going to debit our cash book. So on the debit side, we put our date 1st May 2018. And this receipt is actually capital because we learned from our double entry days that when a business starts with an amount of money, that is actually capital. We put the amount, the 19,000. As simple as that. The next one, received a loan from Philip. So this transaction is even self-explanatory. Received a loan. So the business is receiving a loan. So 2nd May 2018, the details will be loan. And the amount will be 1,700. The next one, bought goods on credit from Dominic. We have already relegated this transaction because it does not speak to us about any payment or receipt of cash or in this case cash. So we move to the next one. Bought motor van 12,500 cash. The business is buying using cash, so the business will make payment. So we go to the credit side. 10th May 2018, motor van. Put the amount there, 12,500. Then finally, 15th, sold goods for cash. So the business is selling goods, and for that matter, would receive cash. So 15th May 2018, that will be sales, right? Because you sell goods, that's sales. 10,000. That's all. So that's all for the transaction. Finally, you need to balance your cash book anytime you are done with recording your transactions. And you do it the same way you balance an account. So you need to get the total for this side and the total for this side. Obviously, the total for this side will be 30,700. So the debit side is more than the credit side. So our balance carry down will be here. Balance carry down. So 30,000. Believe you are taking your calculators. 19,000 plus 1,007 plus 10, 30,700. We compare with 12,500. The difference is 18,200. Right? And as usual, you use your closing date, 31st May 2018. Then you can now draw your total lines, 30,700, 30,700. And this carry down will be brought down here. First, from May, we go to June. So 1st June 2018, balance brought down 18,200. And you are done with your cash book. Very simple, very, very simple. Okay, so this session is ending. Let's resume in the second session and look at the other illustrations and the other types of cash. If you have questions, please bring them on board in the next session. So see you in the next session.